So, good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. So, our Holy Gospel for today is taken from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 17, verses 11 to 19. We're in our Holy Gospel for today, my dear friends. We may be able to see that our Holy Gospel for today is showing the theme that is faith. That faith is, in fact, fundamental in our lives, especially as we Christians, as a believer of Christ, as a believer of God. My dear friends, let us always remember that faith will always help us in our lives as well as in our salvation. So into this gospel, we may be able to see that the 10 lepers, no, or the lepers was or were being healed is just simply because of their faith to God, wherein because of their troubles, because of their sicknesses, they come to ask God for blessings. They come to ask God for their healing. So because they came to God, then God answered their calling, answered their intentions. So in the same way in our lives, my dear friends, if we have this kind of troubles in our lives now, if we have this kind of experiences that sometimes we are not able to fix it. Why? It is indeed that we cannot fix it alone because we really need God in our lives. So that's why, my dear friends, if you have troubles now in your life, then come to God. And surely God will always help you. Why? Because God cannot bear us to see that we are in suffering. That God will always help us, especially for those people who are asking for His help. My dear friends, let us always remember that we should have this kind of the one leper, who come to God, who came back to God and giving thanks. In the same way, my dear friends, in our lives, if God answered our prayers, we should always give thanks to God by offering ourselves, having this kind of service to God. Because sometimes in our lives, my dear friends, from the time that God already answered our prayers, sometimes we will forget God. We're not even going to the church anymore. That from the time that God answered our calling, that God answered our prayer, we forget to give thanks to God. My dear friends, let us always remember that we should always have this kind of return to God. That that we should always remember that God answered our prayer because we asked something for Him. My dear friends, in our Holy Gospel for today, we should always have this kind of firm faith. That part of having this kind of faith and belief is that to ask to God and in the same way to give thanks to God. Amen.